what have you seen in your experience in terms of Black influence on beauty standards and the industry in Japan?
I think that's such a great question because I think each country in that region has addressed it and approached it differently. And I would say that I haven't seen such a response in Japan the way that I think the Rihanna effect happened in China.
Mm.
I'd say Black beauty, to a certain extent, has been more represented through biracial, so half Japanese, half Black individuals like Osaka Naomi,
Mhm.
Ariana Miyamoto, who was Miss Universe Japan in 2015, Rui Hachimura, who plays for the Lakers, like having
Yeah,
successful Blasian,
yeah,
half Black, half Japanese individuals did bring more of Black beauty, certain type of Black beauty to the forefront. And I remember seeing, Naomi Osaka being the ambassador and the face of a Japanese sunscreen. And I thought, this is fantastic because she's everywhere in all the drugstores. And you see, a little Black girl with a darker complexion fronting the biggest Japanese sunscreen brand there is. And I think that's where we saw a bit more of that shift, but not to the effect of what Rihanna did in China. Now, what is interesting though is, Black beauty is still infiltrating everywhere because
yeah,
we're trendsetters.
yeah.
So you can kind of see those trails, take those threads everywhere. Is I would see Japanese hair salons catering to Japanese people, doing locks, doing perms,
Stop.
doing braids, the whole gamut, Black hairstyles on Japanese people. That to me was the most interesting. So even though I wouldn't see necessarily a Black model, in a Japanese beauty commercial, or I would go to a Japanese beauty counter and I wouldn't find shades for my complexion, I could still see how Black beauty had touched, Japanese culture, beauty culture in some ways.
Yeah.
And the hair was definitely the most noticeable one.
How do you blur that for you? Where is the line blurred when in terms of cultural appreciation and cultural appropriation?
Oh, you know what? That's such a great question because I would say I also struggle with the reverse of when I'm exploring Japan.
Yeah, interesting. We never hear
Yes,
from our side. We're never. Yeah,
yes, we
yeah,
don't, right? Because we also always talk about, oh, they
yeah.
took from us, but I'm like, what happens when we take from them?
Mm.
And the reason I point this out is because when I went to Kyoto, I did a geisha makeover and the whole experience. So it was 3 hours and they put on the makeup, the white makeup. They did, the lips, they did my hair, and I had braids at the time. And the girls were so lovely. And they did my hair, geisha Maiko style with
Yeah.
my braids. And I wore, the kimono with the obi and I did a photo shoot. It was an amazing experience. And I'm often reluctant to talk about it because I'm like, oh, will people, jump at me or what happened? And so in the chair, because I was with the girl for 3 hours, I asked her, I said, well, how do you feel about foreigners coming in and doing this? And I thought her answer was just so touching and enlightening and insightful. She said, you know what? Geisha microculture is declining in Japan. Young modern ladies, they don't want to become, geisha anymore because they'd rather, work in schools or, have different types of jobs.
Yeah.
Therefore, we don't have opportunities to share that aspect of our culture as much anymore. So when we have foreigners who come and who are respectful about, they're embracing the experience, we're walking them through, they have such a great time, they feel beautiful, they take pictures, we love it. And I think it's the way we approach it. Like, are we respectful about it? Are we, you know, I went to a place that specialized in Maiko geisha makeovers. So it wasn't just me trying to do something. Like I went through the full ritual. And I said, okay, if it can be done respectfully, if we're acknowledging where it's coming from,
Yeah.
if we're not trying to, take it for ourselves, then it can be a beautiful way to keep that culture alive. And so going back to your question, when I see, Japanese people rocking locks like mine, I'm like, And then I think, well, they're doing it in a respectful way. They're embracing the culture. They're not being, they're not being distasteful about it. They really love the look and the style. It looks good. I mean, it's a Japanese person, but the craftsmanship is there, and that's something about Japanese culture. They're really big on craftsmanship. And I said, I'm okay with that, because if I go, I can be respectful with my geisha experience, and they can be respectful with the Locs, then it's cool. It's when there's disrespect that comes in, that's when I'm less comfortable with it.